How's it, guys? And welcome back to the Diverge Podcast. This week is all about the Tankwa trek, recapping on what went down in the Bokkerveld over the weekend. And it's going to be an interview-heavy pod with lots of chats with the riders who featured prominently in the 2025 edition. The race, of course, was won by Imbuko ChemChamp and the She Sends privateer super team of Candice, Lill and Courtney. Imbuko ChemChamp really pretty much dominated from start to finish, to be fair. I mean, first two stages were close, and they won neither of those, only one on the third stage, on the Queen stage, but still they were second on the first 2 days. Always controlled the race, always controlled the pace, even though they lost out in sprint finishes. So yeah, I think Joubert and Tristan Nortje have got a big season ahead of them. It's going to be very interesting to see how they go at the Absa Cape Epic this year. They could be the highest placed all South African team in a very long time, and the least suspicious highest placed all South African team ever, probably. As for She Sends, Candice, Lill and Courtney were coming off a training camp with Barry Austin and his athletes in the Cedarburg, and they both look to be in fine form for the 2025 season. Barry was saying that Candice, her numbers are better than last year. Her numbers, this is her third year with Barry now. Her 2023 and 2022 numbers were very similar, pretty much the same. It's just in activation that she was better in 2024. So yeah, that augurs very well for Candice going into the cross-country season. This, of course, will be her probably only stage race for the until the late season, probably until Wines to Wales. So very exciting to see her in action, and everybody that got a chance to race alongside her at the Tankwa Trek should feel very honoured by that, the one opportunity. To kick things off on Thursday afternoon, ahead of that afternoon stage, I spoke to some of the elite riders who were taking part, and their interviews are going to start off the show. So here they are in order. From the women's side, Greta Seerwald, who was racing alongside Martina Berta in the M&G Spaghetti team. Then Sarah Kortenovis, who was racing with Tyler Jacobs for Ghost Live Racing. Then Vera Laza, who was racing with Sarah Hill for Efficient Infinity. We missed out on speaking to Candice and Kate, unfortunately, before the race, but we spoke to them lots, and you'll hear lots from them later on in the show, so it's not really too much of a problem. And then on the men's side, it was Simon Stibian of Singer KTM, Marco Joubert of Imbuko ChemChamp, Matt Beers, Toyota Specialized. Matt raced alongside Johan van Zyl. Poor Johan took some shots over the course of the event, but Matt had some bad luck as well. So yeah, sort of, just an interesting one there. The race obviously didn't go as well as previous editions have gone for Matt. He's won it on two occasions with Tristan Nortje and then last year with Alex Miller. So not being able to defend his title, coming in probably knowing he wouldn't be able to defend his title. Bit of a different headspace for Matt at the start of the race. And then Page Eurosteel's Pieter de Tooy. So I had a chat to him. Pieter's obviously always a great interview. And then the coup of the race from the men's perspective was Aubert Late, Speed Company's presidents of the race, Georg Geiger and Lucas Baum. Both obviously took part as a team, their first outing for the year. And unfortunately the event didn't quite go to plan for them either. But here's the interviews, and rounding it off at the end, Georg and Lucas to explain how they were feeling ahead of the race and why they were all starting their season at the Tankwa Trek. Greta, you're no stranger to South Africa, but what have you heard about the Tankwa Trek and what brings you here this year?
Only good things, to be honest. I really enjoyed it here last year, so I decided to come back also this year together with some Italian friends. And we all have the same coach, so we decided to just do a big training camp and finish it with the Tankwa.
what are you looking forward to most about this weekend?
Probably don't waking up at 4, but I don't know. Maybe the trails. I only heard good things about the trails, so I'm really looking forward to them.
So, just tell us about your experience in South Africa so far. What have you found? What's different to riding and racing in Europe?
I must say that yeah, it's the first time for me here in South Africa, and I just fell in love with this place. Honestly, we have been in Stellenbosch, but also outside, it's everything pretty cool. And yeah, the big difference, like now here it's summer and at home it's winter, so that's I think that's enough.
And you are quite a newcomer to teams racing. What are you expecting over the next 4 days of racing in a pair?
I mean, it's gonna be a completely new experience. I'm racing with Tyler Jacobs, and we know each other quite good. But we're gonna discover every side of both of us in the next days. So it's gonna be interesting.
Vera, tell us about being back here at the Tankwa Trek and what you're expecting from the next 4 days.
Yeah, it's always good to be back in this beautiful area. I think the racing's going to be really, really on fire this weekend. Lots of good teams there, but that makes it even more exciting.
And yourself and Sarah teaming up. Yeah, tell us about the partnership and yeah, how you two complement each other.
Yeah, Sarah and I have raced quite a bit together actually already. The Cape Epic a few years ago and the White Whales last year. So we know each other, which helps going into a partner race. I think we complement each other on the technical stuff and we really listen to each other and look after each other. And I think that's crucial in a partner race. So I'm looking forward to racing with her.
And some very strong teams here as well. Who are you expecting to be the team to beat?
Sure, I think Candice and Kate will probably be right up there. But yeah, there's a few good teams, so and anything can happen. So we'll see what happens.
Stevie, tell us about the Tankwa Trek. You guys come here pretty much every year. What brings you back every time?
Yeah, I had a long break now. I think it was 6 or 7 years I'm back here the last time. It's quite a challenging terrain here. It's a beautiful landscape and you have a well-organized event. That's why we try to come back every year. And yeah, obviously, like getting ready for the Cape Epic this I think is a pretty good build-up towards this big goal for us, and that's why we are here.
And then you brought another couple of Germans with you as well. What are you expecting from Lucas and Georg?
Yeah, like you know, the guys like Lucas and Georg, they always race full gas, so I expect quite a fast race, even also with the South African guys. I mean, it's their main season right now, so for us it's a bit challenging coming out of winter, straight to the heat here, sharp racing, and but that's what we need towards the big goal, and that's why we are here.
And tell us about your equipment for this race. Anything you're doing specifically with the bikes or tires?
Yeah, like we've been here now since 1 week. It was challenging in the beginning with the setup, especially with the fork and the rear suspension and also the tire pressure. That's why it's good to already be here in this terrain and test all the stuff. And the next few days we will still testing a bit and see what's the perfect setup.
Marco, you've had some good races and some good results here at Tankwa, but Imbuko has never won the Tankwa Trek. That's obviously a big goal for you this year.
Yeah, I think we all want to win. It feels nice to win, so yeah, we'll try again this year.
And yourself and Tristan have been flying so far this season. Good results at Adequas and at the Bangor Trail Seeker as well.
Yeah, I think both races went well, so we feel good coming into this race. Just go with the flow and race the bikes hard.
And then good to see some of the big international names here already so far this season, and obviously Speed Company being here puts a little bit of extra pressure on the events as well.
Yeah, I think it's really nice. Tankwa is, I think, last couple of years it's gone a bit down. I mean, in terms of the international competition, and it's good to have the top guys back here again. Epic's slowly approaching, time, so it's a nice event to test everything, equipment, and race against the dudes that are at the front there.
What are you expecting this afternoon? This 30K stage is really fast. It's normally about an hour of racing. But yeah, it can be quite important to how the event plays out overall.
Yeah, I think we're all going to test each other, and you just don't want to lose a wheel. So try and be at the front of the race, and yeah, if we can have a good prologue, it will set us up for the next couple of days. So just hoping everything goes smooth.
Matt, a little bit of a different build-up this year to Tankwa Trek and a different teammate. Tell us about skipping out on Attakwas and the Trail Seeker, and then starting your season here and starting alongside Johan.
Yeah, I tried to change it up a little bit. Not doing Attakwas is maybe just because I'm getting too old and fragile in my age. I couldn't do another 50 degrees for 5 hours. But then, yeah, Murphy's Law, it was only like 20 something. But yeah, the racing, I think for everyone, it's getting really long nowadays. We race from January till now. With Kevin's new race, it's till like mid-November, and yeah, it's just kind of impossible to be good and have the mental bullets for that long.
And what are you expecting from the next 4 days? And obviously, with Lucas and Georg being here as well, good opportunity to scope out the competition.
Yeah, with Johan, it's a new partnership. It's hopefully I can, teach him a little bit and see how we can manage him, and hopefully really bring out his potential. And then it's great that Lucas and Georg are here. I think I actually told them that they must come do this race last year, and they're here, so it's sick. I think they're going to enjoy it, and they always bring really good racing, so we know it's going to be hard. There's not going to be any looking around in the first bits like it has been a few years, so I'm excited that we're going to have some boys ripping it from the start.
Tell us about the Tankwa Trek. What makes the event so special?
Yeah, no, this is awesome special event, 4 days of lekker racing, and starting off with a prologue. I had today in the race preview, there's like 10 Ks of extra new single track, so I think today is gonna be one of the toughest prologues with single track early on, and a packed field, so yes.
And you've had some good results here over the years. You went on that crazy solo break a couple of years ago. What have you got planned for this year?
Yes, we'll see. I won't go on a solo break again. I broke myself that time. Thank you for reminding me. But this year I'll just do my best. Not sure how the shape is at the moment. So me and Phil are in the unknown, but we'll give it our best.
Georg, you got enough sun cream for the next 4 days?
I hope so, yeah. Just arrived 5 days ago, so the sun hits me quite hard at the moment still, but we packed some 50 plus sunscreen, so it should be fine. Yeah.
What made you decide to come start the season here instead of going to Andalusia and Spain?
Yeah, the last years we had been to Mediterranean Epic, indeed not Andalusia. So, but yeah, I mean the weather is quite similar to Cape Epic here. The trails are more similar, so it makes sense to prep here for Cape Epic. And the weather is also better than in Spain. So in Spain you can still hit some rain or some super cold days as well.
And then what are you expecting this afternoon? It's quite unique to start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 30 plus degrees. It's going to be really hot, but the racing is going to be fast as well.
Yeah, so it's also quite different with a short, not prologue, it's a mass start, so it's going to be quite different to a normal stage race. But going to be quite interesting.
Lucas, you've been in South Africa for a little while now. Tell us about what it's like to be here, to train here, and then to start your season racing here as well.
Well, as an European, it's quite an honor to train for a couple of weeks in the nice South African heat and weather, escaping the European winter, and coming here to South African summer. With a big goal approaching of the Cape Epic, it's nice to train and put a bit of efforts in beforehand, so the body gets accustomed to it. And now we're here in Tankwa, ready to attack again.
And have you done anything specific for the bikes this year? Bikes, tires, suspension to get ready?
I'm running more or less the same setting, although I sized up, so I'm running on an L now instead of an M, and a bit of a shorter stem, so I'm sitting more between the wheels. That's my new kind of approach for this year's season, and but so far everything stayed the same.
Is that for the single tracks, a little bit more technical control, or?
Well, I think it's the length, the wheelbase grew a bit, so it gives me a bit more stability in the fast gravel corners, I feel like, and a bit more stability in the downhills, a bit more comfortable riding. Maybe it enhances also the performance in the single tracks. So we see how it goes.
And what have they told you about the Merino Monster on the Queen stage?
Yeah, everyone seems to talk about it. It's quite numbers-wise, it's quite seems like demanding. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm living in Andorra, so I'm used to climbing. Stefan Sam just said 1,000 meters in one go. So we'll see how I can handle it in the heat.
Stage 1 then, that afternoon stage on Thursday afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The temperature was up into the mid-30s. It was probably unpleasantly hot is the best way to describe it. Not much air moving, hardly any wind. 30 kilometers, 470 meters of climbing, quite a cross-country style stage, very punchy. No big climbs, just short, sharp, steep ones. And Piger Eurosteel B, Jaden Terlouw and Michael Foster took the victory there by just 4 seconds over Imbuko ChemChamps Marco Joubert and Tristan Nortje. A little bit of a surprise there, but Jaden and Michael do tend to have these types of performances in them. They're still very young, maybe struggle a little bit with consistency, kind of as we saw in the race, really. But their ability on once-off performances is right up there with the very, very best in South African mountain biking. Singer KTM were third on the day. Martin Frey, Sibon Stibian, they were just 9 seconds behind the leaders. And then a little bit of a surprise package. The Computer Mania Cannondale Pro team, Daniel van der Walt and Urshan Specker, they were fourth, 19 seconds back. Both of them coming back from injury. Urshan actually hadn't raced much at all before the Tankwa trek. He'd been off with a knee injury, so it was a great performance from them, and they featured later on in the weekend as well. And then Toyota Specialized, Matt Beers and Johan van Zyl led home a group. They were all just over a minute. So Matt and Johan were 1 minute and 6 seconds down on that 30-kilometer opening stage, and they led home a group which featured the rest of the sort of the big names, the Speed Company Racings and the Insect Sciences of the Tankwa trek. So here are the interviews from after stage 1, starting off with Simon Stibian and then Martin Frey of Singer KTM, then Marco Joubert and Tristan Nortje of Imbuko ChemChamp, and then the stage winners, Jaden Terlouw and Michael Foster. Stevie, tell us about today. What was it like out there? It seemed really hot and really fast right from the start.
Yeah, flat out from the start. It was about to get in a really good position to that first trail, which we did quite well. And like you said, from there on it was just like fighting against the heat, try to keep on and full gas to the finish line.
But you know exactly what it's like out there in the Tankwa. It's a long race and tomorrow is a really hard stage. How do you feel you've set yourselves up now for the rest of the race and for tomorrow in particular?
Yeah, I feel quite confident. I mean, today was a bit of a shock for the system. First intense race for us. The heat and just an hour of racing, that's what we normally not used to do as a marathon rider. So the next days should suit us better, but I know also that it's quite hard the next 3 days, so let's recover as good as possible and then be ready tomorrow.
Martin, tell us about today. Did it go as you expected?
Yes, what can I say? I mean, we both were a little nervous, like always, for the first day of racing, kicking off the new season. But in the end, it turned out quite well. Almost all the time in contention with the lead, and we finished only a couple of seconds off. So both we are happy with the race today.
And how are the bikes feeling? How's the suspension? How's the tire setup?
I must say, surprisingly well. We normally it takes like, let's say, a couple of days to get used to the terrain and the sand and the rough rocks here, but today I already felt quite comfortable and look forward for the next few stages.
Marco, a really fast start this afternoon, but you guys look like you pretty much controlled it along with Michael Foster from the get-go.
Yeah, I think I set the pace. Well, from the gun, we actually felt quite good. Coming into Tankwa, this was the stage we were scared of the most. That suits us, the less. But we felt good, so then we thought we'd control the pace. So just rode our own pace at the front. It went well, and then in the last 500 meters, we were just on the wrong side of like a rut. I think bit of a route marking and rider error, everything coming together. But in the end, the race is still close, and there's 3 more days to make up a couple of seconds. So I feel like we should have won today, but a little bit of bad luck.
Tell us about taking that confidence of knowing that you got good legs into stages that suit you better.
Yeah, I think it's really good. We'll just keep doing what we're doing, eating how we're eating, and looking forward to the next couple of days.
Tristan, tell us about today's stage. You guys made it hard right from the beginning, and it very nearly paid off.
Yeah, I think today went very well for us. We maybe didn't win, but I think we rode super well. It was hard, but we just tried to control the race and made it hard where it was hard, and we split the group, and I think it paid off.
And looking ahead now to the rest of the weekend, this is a race that really suits you. You've won it before. How are you feeling going into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Yeah, I think we the next 3 days is more our style of racing. Prologue is normally my weaker point, but today it was really good. So means it's going to be a good few days, and we look forward to the longer days on the bike.
Jan, tell us about your little tumble and then what happened in the run into the finish.
Yeah, so I fell about 3Ks to go in one of the district road corners, and the two Imbuko boys and Michael rode up the road, and I almost didn't see them again. And I kind of got a bit negative because I was like, I'm never going to catch them, and they actually ended up all making a mistake in the last 500 meters where they had to go through a ditch, and the route actually went around the ditch. Luckily I had ridden the route beforehand, or not beforehand, but before the start, the finish loop, so I knew what was going on, and that paid off. So I knew where to go, and they were all running up the ditch, and I just rode straight past. So luckily for me, they made a mistake, and we were able to take the win today. So it was awesome.
And looking forward to starting tomorrow in yellow. That also brings with it some pressure and a big target on your back.
Yeah, I think I prefer the pressure. It's more fun to be in first place than in second place. So I don't mind the pressure. I think it will be a good day. Hopefully we can hold on to it for the next 3 days.
Michael, tell us about how you felt today and how you feel that this sets you up for the next 3 days to come.
That was a pretty fast stage one. I was just sitting at the back, sort of chilling behind the guys, watching their moves and seeing what they're doing. Sort of then about halfway through, then I decided, okay, now I need to get closer to the front and make some moves. But it's a great. My first Tankwa trek and first stage win, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
In the women's race on the opening stage, She Sends won, Candice, Lill and Courtney. Pretty much as dominant as you can be over 30 kilometers, 1 minute and 53 seconds, ahead of Spaghetti M&G's Greta Seerwold, or M&G Spaghetti's Greta Seerwold and Martina Berta. Ghost Liv Racing, Tyler and Sarah were 3 minutes and 44 down ahead of Efficient Infinity's Sarah Hill and Vera Laza, who lost 7 minutes and 12 seconds on that opening stage. I think they never quite got back into it after that, even though they were competitive throughout the race, but sort of ceded a little bit too much time on that fast opening stage. Sarah just was really struggling, I think, as a lot of people did with the heat and switching on the intensity after registration to come in and then suddenly be racing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a bit different. Maybe the cross-country race is a little bit more used to those sort of weird start times, whereas the marathon races are very much used to starting early in the morning. And then the new team, Safari Essence Titan Racing, Bianca Hoare and Danielle Stradom, they finished fifth on the day 8:57 down on the stage winners. And that unfortunately is kind of as good as it got really for Safari Essence Titan Racing as well, unfortunately. But yeah, a little bit more on them later in the show. For now, let's get into those interviews with the women's contenders from stage 1, starting with Tyler Jacobs, and then Greta Seerwald, Martina Bertha, Candice Lill, and Kate Courtney. Tell us about the start of this year for you. Obviously a big year, moving to a factory team. Yeah, a lot of big firsts, and first here at the Tankwa Trek as well. You happy with how stage 1 went?
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. It was a lot like a cross-country course, so it worked well for me. And also this is just a super fun experience, not a lot of pressure on it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Tell us about the partnership with Sarah. How did that come about and how it went on the first day?
It was through Barry. So we were all here on a training camp, and then we're doing Tankwa together, and Barry arranged it. Yeah, so we've just been getting to know each other over the past few days.
And what was the trails like out there today?
They were really nice. I thought they were going to be a lot rougher, but they were actually very, very nice.
And what has Candice told you about tomorrow in the Witzenberg Valley? There's trails there that will really suit you, pretty technical, and yeah, just full on the whole time.
Yeah, she hasn't told me much about tomorrow. I've only heard about how rough the Marina Monster is going to be.
Greta, you clearly enjoyed it out there. Was it a lot of fun?
It was huge fun. Like, it was super hard in the beginning. I think Kate was in the front from the start gun, so the pace was really, really high. But yeah, it was super fun.
What do you think of the trails out here in the Tankwa?
They are amazing. People didn't lie to me.
Looking ahead at tomorrow, it's a tough day in the Witzenberg Valley. It's a famous day for mountain biking. What do you know about the stage?
Nothing. We will have a briefing with all the athletes. I think this evening, where we're gonna see what to expect for tomorrow.
And then tell us about this sort of 3-team combination that you've got staying together, all coached by Barry. Seems like it's a good vibe in the group as well.
Exactly. Like we are here all together since 1 week already. We did a small boot camp, let's call it like this, all together, like Kate, Candice, Martina and me, and also the youngsters, Sarah and Taylor. We are all coached by Barry, so it's huge fun to train together and now to race together. So yeah.
Martina, tell us about your first experience here at the Tankwa Trek. What was today like?
Pretty hard and rough, but really, yeah, I mean, the trails are really nice. It's the first time I'm here at Tankwa, but also it's the first stage race that hard. So, I mean, the prologue was really hard, I really liked it because it's almost a cross country, a lot of trails and short uphill, and really nice to ride on it.
Tell us about the bike setup and how you're getting into the rhythm of riding in South Africa, because it is very different from riding back home.
Yeah, it's pretty different, and also for me, I changed teams, so I changed all the materials, all the bikes. So I think also the training camp here was really the good time to fix everything and to understand a bit better the bike. And for sure, with the warm weather, the sand and the dust here, it's pretty tricky for the bike too. The setup is not really different from the one at home. It's something that could work in mixed condition. And yeah, then for sure to ride here, you don't have to go really full gas in the downhill, because it's really easy to make mistake.
Candice, what is it about the Tankwa Trek which seems to really suit you and really play to your strengths?
I really love the Tankwa Trek. It's one of my it is probably my favorite stage race. I just really love the rugged, rough terrain. It reminds me a lot of where I grew up, like riding with my dad on the farm back in the day. Really rocky climbs, and I think I just developed strength over that sort of terrain, and I really enjoy it.
it's a year where you're not going to be stage racing very much, so we're very honoured to have you here at Tankwa. Tell us about how today went. Actually, good start for you guys, but you didn't take it easy. You went out really hard.
Yeah, I think maybe because I'm not doing so much stage racing this year, it was like, well, let's come to Tankwa Trek and just smash it from the get-go, make the most of it. But yeah, it's true, I'm not going to do that much stage racing this year, but this race really falls at a perfect time for me in terms of preparation for the season. It's early enough to get a really good fitness and everything from it. Today was hard, yes, as you said. Kate and I went straight from the gun, but that was kind of our tactic, and we wanted to just see what it was like, see how we ride together on the limit, and it went really well.
Tell us about the partnership with Kate. How did it come about? And how are you gelling on the bike?
So I'm riding with Kate, obviously, and we just started making a friendship last year on the Cross Country World Cup. We both have the same coach, Barry, and we did some rides together and really just connected. I think we both have the same attitude towards our racing and training, and it's only been one day racing together, but it went really, really well. Like, it was a nice partnership that really just gels, and I think we can both have fun and laugh on the bike as well.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting it to be another hard day on the bike. Obviously, I do know what's coming from previous years, so yeah, there's that long climb at 3/4 of the way through, so I really think that's where the race will go, and hopefully Kate and I can have a strong one together.
Kate's first stage race in quite a while for you, first team stage race in quite a while for you. Tell us about the partnership with Candice and how it started out here in Tankwa.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. I've only actually ever done one stage race, but it was a very hard one, so very memorable in 2018. But it was just really amazing to be back here and racing in a team. Obviously, Candice is the best partner you could ask for. She's got tons of experience, but also, we've become good friends on the circuit this past year. And so it's just really fun to race with someone that's pretty evenly matched. We can kind of work our strengths and weaknesses and really function as a team, which I think is really unique and special at this level of racing. I think it's going to be a great 4 days for us.
And how does this race fit into your calendar and into your year? I mean, obviously you've got some big goals and it's a busy year for you, but to come spend some time out in South Africa at the beginning and start it off nicely is actually a good way to begin the year.
It's the perfect way to start the year for me. I think obviously there's been a lot of change for me this year. I've got a new team program. I'm racing more as a privateer this year and with new partners. So starting the year with something kind of different to really just be able to fall in love with bike racing, test the legs, get out, have low pressure, but also a really, really hard challenge is kind of the perfect way mentally to start the year. And I think it's a great reminder to all of us how much we love racing our bikes and, kind of get the year started. And hopefully we carry some fitness from this into the World Cup season.
What has Candice told you about tomorrow? Because the Witzenberg Valley is pretty infamous in mountain biking.
Yeah, I've heard that the next couple of stages will be pretty tough. We had a shorter day today, but I think we'll have plenty of suffering out there in the next couple days. But I think that's part of what makes it fun is really it's you and your partner versus the terrain often. And of course, you're competing against other teams. But really the task is pushing yourself and pushing your team as far as you can go. And I'm sure the terrain will give us plenty of challenge over the coming days.
Then stage 2 was a day of punctures, 88 kilometers, 1,850 meters of climbing in the Witzenberg Valley. It's always a tough day. For me personally, I think it's actually the toughest day of the Tankwa Trek, just because it's so rugged and rough and unrelenting. The Merino Monster stage, obviously the Queen stage with that massive mountain, is maybe harder on paper, but actually while you're riding it, it's pretty smooth. You can kind of get some rhythm and you can cover kilometers quite easily. But in the Witzenberg Valley, every single kilometer, every single meter is a slog. You always got to be working your bike, sort of using your upper body as well. So it really is a grueling stage, and it's tough on equipment as well. So in the men's race, Matt Beers had a really bad puncture. He lost 10 minutes at one stage. Had to chase back to catch back up with Johan van Zyl, and they ended up finishing well down on the stage, which kind of cost them on the overall eventually. Matt reckons they would have finished third overall if he hadn't have lost that much time. So yeah, I mean that's quite a was quite a dramatic puncture. He was testing some equipment as well, we're told, so it's safe to say those tyres won't be making an appearance at the Cape Epic. And then Herman Farid absolutely destroyed a rear rim, cracked it in two places, ended up having to walk and carry his bike. So yeah, it was a dramatic mechanical for Herman. I mean, Herman is hard in his gear as well, though. And then the other story from the day was Georg being off the pace. Georg came into the race having had a stomach bug a couple of days before, was a bit flat, struggling to recover in the heat. And was just never really on it. He actually ended up withdrawing from the race ahead of stage 3. So stage 2 was the last one that he and Lucas Baum completed together. On the racing side of things, Imbuko and Honeycomb pretty much dominated the stage, shared a lot of the pacemaking duties. They went over the final climb back out of the Wittenberg Valley together, and kind of worked together rather than tearing strips of each other towards the finish line because of the gap that they'd built up. They were, and the problems that Page Eurosteel B's, Jaden Tiller and Michael Foster were having behind them. They were able to, kind of, I don't know, a bit of a gentleman's agreement there maybe, with Honeycomb 226s taking the stage win, and Imbuko ChemChamp finishing second and taking the yellow jerseys. So the gaps were pretty small there between those two, just 2 seconds in it between the first two teams. Then Page Eurosteel 2's Michael Foster and Jaden Tiller recovered well, ended up finishing 3.5 minutes down on the stage ahead of Insect Science and Singer KTM Racing, who were 4 minutes 23 down on the day, which was quite a big time last day for Martin and Simon Stibian. They both also reported struggling a little bit on the day. That meant that on the general classification after 2 stages, Joubert and Tristan Nortje led Honeycomb 226's Mark Pritson and Wessel Buerter by 1 minute on the dot. Page Eurosteel 2's Michael Foster and Jaden Tiller were second at 3:27, ahead of Singer KTM Racing at 4:26 and Insect Science, Arne de Toy and Keegan Bontekoning at 5:15. So after the stage, I spoke to Tristan Nortje, Wessel Buerter, and then to find out what happened to them and why they lost time, to Jaden Tiller of Page Eurosteel. Tristan, just talk us through today's stage. Looked like you guys had a plan out there, and you tried to make it hard early on, and then sort of once things had broken up, you and Honeycomb worked together well towards the end.
Yeah, that was the plan, just to ride our own pace from the beginning, because we know to the first water point there's not actually a lot of slip, but yeah, if you ride your own pace, it's actually better, it's actually easier. So yeah, we rode our own pace and got a gap, and then the group came back together, and yeah, the plan was just to push the pace and then maybe get one team to come with us and then work together towards the finish and just extend the time gap.
And then you must be pretty stoked with how the race has gone so far. I mean, you never know with the Europeans coming here what form they're going to be in, but to be dominating them on South African soil must be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I think the goal is definitely Cape Epic. That's in a month's time. So yeah, Tankwa track is the perfect prep for South Africans and Europeans. That's why they come. So yeah, it's good signs for our South African riders, and yeah, I think South Africa is on a good level.
And looking forward to tomorrow. The Merino Monster is a climb that suits you, and Marco showed himself to be climbing really well as well so far this week.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's, everyone knows it's the Queen Stage. We're going up Merino, the biggest climb. So yeah, I think both of us are good climbers, so we're going to see what we can do and then try to keep the yellow.
Wessel, tell us about yesterday, the short stage one. Maybe didn't really suit you that much, but you guys limited your losses and then were in it to win it today.
Yeah, yesterday wasn't the ideal day for us. Unfortunately, Mark punctured like 5Ks in. Then we had a lot of work cut out for us. It's a fast day, so difficult to get back. But yeah, we limited time loss. Didn't actually lose much time after the puncture, so we knew the legs were good. And at least, yeah, had a super great day today.
Tell us about today. You guys were strong throughout and then worked really well with Imbuko to extend the gap and put pressure on Page and the other guys.
Yeah, I think Mark was the MVP today. After going into the Witzenberg, there was a bit of a crash in front of me and I got lost contact with the front group, but on the tar road he managed to pace me back, and then we were back in the mix and it split on the main climb with Imbuko driving it a bit, and then just worked with them towards the end, moved them to second overall. So still a minute back, but I think it's all to play for still on Marino stage tomorrow.
Tell us about that minute. Obviously, it's a minute's not a lot on Marino Monster. It's very easy to lose that, but then coming down on the other side, you've got to be really careful as well.
Yeah, Marino has had some interesting GC shake-ups in the past. I think if you blow up, you can lose more than a few minutes, and it's going to be tricky coming down the descent. You never really know how it's going to look, so just have to be cautious down there and play our cards right. I think we're still in the game.
Jaden, a bit of a difficult day for you out there. Talk us through what happened and the disappointment of losing yellow.
Yeah, so we struggled up the first climb, lost contact there, and we kept chasing back, and we would get back on, and then we'd lose contact again, then we'd need to chase back on again. Then we got back on, and then up the big climb the guys really went hard, so I decided rather to ride my own pace, because I knew if I try to go with the accelerations I was going to explode completely. Fortunately I was not as strong as Mike. He was up there with the guys, and so we ended up time trialing back home after that, losing yellow, but it's all good. We got another day tomorrow, and hopefully we can send it.
And you must be pretty, relieved maybe, or happy with how the last 10Ks or so went, riding back past Singer, back into third. That's sort of a good motivation for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, definitely. I found a second breath, so I was able to put the hammer down on the flats here towards the end, so pretty glad about that. Hopefully tomorrow it's a bit better.
And then looking forward to tomorrow, that Marino Monster. You nervous about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to it, but it will be a tough stage, and I think it's going to be a good dice.
In the women's race, it was a dominant performance from Courtney and Candice Lill. They put an absolutely massive 13 minutes and 50 seconds into their nearest rivals on the day, who happened to be Sarah Hill and Vera Laza. Greta Seerwold had 4 punctures, most of them within a short space of time, pretty early on in the stage, kind of between kilometer 20 and kilometer 35. So that really put them out of the running. They finished 4th on the day, lost 20 minutes on the stage. So that kind of really disrupted their general classification challenge, or their ability to challenge Candice and Kate on the general classification. They probably wouldn't have been able to put them under pressure. Looking at the 2 days that were absolutely trouble free for him, they were still quite a bit off the pace, but it would have been closer at least. After the other thing about that day was sort of the struggles of that, which was then probably down to that physicality of that Witzenberg Valley stage. The struggles of the youngsters, Tyler Jacobs and Sarah Cortenovas. They went over the final climb in second place, but ended up losing second on the trails to Sarah Hill and Vera Laza, who reeled them in and passed them with just under 10 kilometers to go. They lost about a minute, 59 seconds to the Efficient Infinity team. So they moved up to second, about 18 and a half minutes down after 2 stages to down behind Candice and Kate Courtney. Sarah Hill, Vera Laza were third after 2 days, 21 minutes and 2 seconds down, just under 2 minutes ahead of Greta Seerwold and Martina Berta in 4th place. So after stage 2, this is what Candice Lill, Sarah Hill and Sarah Cortenovas had to say. So what happened with M&G Spaghetti's mechanical? Did you see it? There was just something out there.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that Greta and Martina had a mechanical. We just popped out on the tar road after probably like 20 Ks and realized that it was only Tyler and Sarah with us. And then we obviously realized something had happened. But yeah, from that point, I didn't really see them, obviously, because they were just struggling with their wheel the whole time.
And then tell us about that climb. Going up there is always pretty tough. Even if you are just riding at your own pace, it's still hard.
It is, yeah. It was actually slightly different this year because normally we have the group that rolls into the bottom of the climb and everyone sort of like takes turns and it's a bit more chill. Whereas this year Kate and I got away quite early, which makes it a lot of time, just the two of you pacing into the wind and making your own pace. So I think it seemed like the climb was a lot longer because that gravel road was already just the two of us on our own. But luckily I knew what's coming, so I could coach Kate through, okay, there's a few more kickers, this is the last one, recover here, so it helps.
And then tell us about this last 10 Ks into the finish line. It's pretty tough.
It is.
And, the cars don't end.
I actually find from the last water point all the way home is really tough because everyone puts a lot of emphasis on the climb and making it to the top of the climb, and then actually from the last water point you still have quite a climb and then all the flat sandy stuff to the line. So you really have to save something for the finish. I think Kate and I did that perfectly today. We didn't overpace at any point and we could ride like just a nice fast pace to the line.
And then looking forward to tomorrow and the Merino Monster. What's it going to be like?
I'm sure it's going to be tough. If people think today was like it took long to get to the climb, I think Merino is probably double that feeling. You climb a lot before you actually even get to the bottom of the Merino. So hopefully Greta and Martina have a better day and they come with more like fresh legs and hopefully it's interesting at the front there.
Did you take the Strava QM last year from Isla?
I believe I did, yes.
So are you going for that again this year?
You know, it's not a bad idea. Now you just put that idea in my mind, got to do it.
Sarah, this stage 2 of the Tankwa Trek is always a tough one. There's that mix of single tracks and then some pretty nasty climbs as well.
Yeah.
How do you manage your effort to get through a day like today?
Today, I felt like I started a little bit flat. The heat definitely got to me yesterday, and Vera had to do a lot of looking after. But just as you said, it was all about managing the pace, managing the legs, managing how I was feeling. We were only as strong as I could go in that moment, and it's just so nice to have such a supportive partner along the way. And we rode through that first rocky section pretty good. It took me a little bit to get my rhythm, but the rocky stuff is really, it's playful riding. So if once you find your groove, it's really good. And then we hit that dirt road where it's really just surviving until the water point, and then the climb starts. And she allowed me to just set my pace. I didn't want to push too hard because I knew even once you're up and over, the finish is still really hard. And we went up and we looked back and I thought, oh no, the girls are coming, because we were currently sitting in third. And that's just so cool for me. Brand new team. It's really nice to show the colors. We get through the water points. I was in quite a dip, but then we saw second place. And, that little dangling carrot sits there and you try a little harder. And eventually we caught them at about 10 Ks to go. And to have a tiny gap on them and to just give as much as we could give, it was such a pleasure coming into this finish line second. It's a career highlight for me.
Then looking forward to tomorrow. You guys are third overall now, and
cool.
Big day tomorrow with Merino Monster. It's gonna be tough to defend or to try to move up even.
Yeah, Merino is a beast. But we'll just do the same thing. We see where our legs are. We control the pace. We don't try chase anything that we can't hang on to, and then hopefully make some gains in the second half.
So, talk us through today. It was really tough out there, very hot and very rugged conditions as well.
Yeah, today was a really tough day. It was a long stage, and also the warm didn't help a lot. But at the end, it was really super fun to race in anyway those conditions with my teammate Tyler.
And tell us about the last 10 kilometers when you guys got caught fast on the trails and then had to dig really deep.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that they were in the back, so we tried to push all out, but we were already kind of on the limit, and we said, okay, we are here to have fun. We go our pace, and like that's our main goal. So that was the tactic at the end.
And then moving up into second on GC, that must be pretty special as well.
Yeah, that was unexpected for the both of us. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Looking forward to tomorrow. What do you know about the Merino Monster?
I know there is a lot of climb, so it's gonna be interesting. Actually, like to me, it's a good thing. But we are a team, so we're gonna help each other for sure.
Stage 3 was the Queen stage, the Merino Monster Day, 99 kilometers with 2,200 meters of climbing. Always a day that everybody is very nervous about. In the men's race, the pacemaking owed a lot to Full Base of Paiga Eurosteel 1 and to Lucas Baum of Joubert and Speed Company. Georg started the day and then pulled out almost straight away. So Lucas had the opportunity to really go for it and empty himself on the day, just use it as a big training ride. And he rode like an angry man. Him and Phil swapped off at the front for the first probably 55, 60 Ks, really made it hard, which turned out to play into the favor of Imbuko, ChemChamp and Honeycomb 226s. Once the climbing started, Imbuko once again proved themselves to be the strongest climbers in the race, or the strongest team in the race. They sort of slowly distanced everybody apart from Honeycomb 226s and Singer KTM on the Tronsberg Pass climb, the climb before the Merino Monster proper. Once they went through that final water point 3 at the bottom of Merino Farm, then Tristan laid down the watts, went on the attack. Marco bridged across to him, and they just rode away, quickly put in about a minute and a half advantage on Honeycomb 226's. Vessel was struggling a little bit on that first part of the climb. And then Singer Racing another 30 seconds or so down. Once the acceleration stopped from Tristan, the others were kind of able to hold the gap, or at least like hold it that it was only going out very slowly. So Imbuko went over the summit with at least a minute and a half, maybe even 2 minute lead over their nearest rivals, Honeycomb 226s. In the process, Tristan Nortje took a new Strava King of the Mountain time over there, smashing Matt Beers' record by 50 seconds. The new time to beat is 35 minutes and 36 seconds for the 8 and a bit kilometer climb. So yeah, very impressive riding there from Tristan and Marco. Marco just a couple of seconds slower over the Strava segment than Tristan, going down the other side, which is a pretty ferocious descent as well. Really one that needs to be handled with care, and everybody kind of knows that, but still it's easier said than done. Vesselboerter, while chasing, punctured, cracked a rim, so they had to get the old duct tape out, tape his rim up. That cost them quite a bit of time when they got going again. About 5 minutes after they got going, Mark Britson punctured as well, had to stop and plug it. So after starting the descent in second place, they ended up hitting the valley roads in fourth, and that was kind of the end of the GC battle at the Tankwa Trek, because after that Imbuko had a handy lead. Singer KTM ended up finishing second on the day behind Marco Joubert and Tristan Nortje, but they were 6 minutes back. Computer Mania Cannondale Pro were 8.5 minutes back, and then Honeycomb lost 8 minutes and 41 seconds on the day to Toyota Specialized Matt Beers, 11 minutes and 30 seconds alongside Johan van Zyl there behind the day's winners. So that was pretty much the general classification then decided, because going into the final stage, Joubert and Tristan Nortje had a 8 minutes and 43 second lead over Mark Britson and Vesselboerter, and Singer KTM were 10 minutes 41 down. Computer Mania Cannondale Pro 14 minutes 27, and Insect Sciences Artenu de Toy and Keegan Bontekoning were fifth, 19 minutes 59 seconds, so very much almost 20 minutes down. After the stage, I spoke to Martin Fry, to Marco Joubert, Daniel van der Walt, and then to find out what happened with those punctures to Mark Britson as well. Marco, tell us about the early part of the stage today. The guys said Lucas went really hard and strung it out pretty early on.
Yeah, we were quite happy that he was committing to keeping the pace high. It always works out for us better. We were hoping someone would drive the pace, and yeah, luckily Lucas was sort of on our side today.
And then the mid phase of the race became a little bit tactical, guys looking at each other and saving some matches for the Merino Monster. Was that the case?
Definitely. Yeah, you want to eat as much as possible before Merino and save the legs. I mean, it's a super hard effort. I think from the Merino fluffer, the short climb before, to the top of Merino is over an hour full gas. So yeah, we were saving our legs for there and then just went all in there. It's only honeycomb, that stuck our wheel, and then on Merino, just after the feed zone, we put the nail in the coffin.
And you guys went over the top, took the king of the mountain. But I mean, as we've seen with honeycomb now, anything can happen on that descent. You've got to be really cautious coming down there as well. Talk about that.
Yeah, that descent is super tricky. There's smooth parts, but also some really rough parts, and the rough parts hit you while you're like going 40k an hour. So you got to be really up it and concentrate on your lines. We luckily had a nice gap, and yeah, where we could go fast we went, but took it very cautious on the parts where you can get a mechanical, and yeah, I think it worked out perfect. And on the flats home we just drilled it. Yeah.
Going into tomorrow now, you guys have got a good lead on the general classification, but it's going to be rocky and rough tomorrow as well, and anything can happen still.
Yeah, of course. But it's a pretty healthy lead. I think we've shown that we've got legs for this event, and tomorrow should suit us again, lacquer. It's nice having the yellow jersey on your back. It gives you some confidence as well. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be fun, I think.
Tough day out there. Yeah, tell us about it from your perspective.
Yeah, Merino Monster, always a special stage. For me, it's been quite a few years that I've been back at that mountain. But we both felt better than yesterday, where we really ran out of energy. Today, Stevie felt his legs, so we had to really ride our own rhythm. But yeah, I mean, we were there with the top three, and in the end finished in second. Made up some time. I think we should be in third now on GC. But the most important is that the feeling is good, not perfect yet, but we're getting there.
And a day like today, it's obviously a good confidence builder where you know where you are, but when you can sort of see how it's going against the other teams, and you can see that your shape's moving in the right direction.
Yeah. To be honest, there's no chance at the moment following the Imbuko guys. Hats off to them. So they rode a really strong race today, and also the last two stages. But at the same time, I think we can be confident in our preparation towards the Epic. There's still some work to do, but we're on a solid level, and we'll work from here.
Daniel, tell us about today. It was tough out there, but you must be pretty stoked with how it ended up going.
Yeah, I was super stoked with today. I mean, it was a very, very tough day with the Merino Monster. It's a very long climb. But yeah, Sin and I paced ourselves well. Went quite steadily up there and then just kept it good to the end. So we're very happy with how it turned out.
Mark, let's talk us through the start of the day. It was pretty tough. Lucas made it really hard early on and strung it out. But then it sort of became quite tactical after water point 2 in the run into that, the Merino fluffer.
Yeah, I almost want to say thank you to Philip and Lucas. They did actually quite a good job. They made the day quite simple, actually. You know, fighting for the little bridge to go under the road. Philip drilled it in front there, and we were in a good position, so we benefited from that. Going down the pass. Again, we benefited from Philip being on the front, And then Lucas went to the front and it was a little bit of a headwind, and just kept on riding on the front, and I just sat on his wheel. So thanks to those two guys, they really made the day quite simple for us. And then from there on out, I mean, the climbs were quite hard going towards Merino, and then after the water point, Wessel was a little bit off. So then the game changed a little bit. Waited up for Wessel, and then he rode a really good steady pace all the way up the climb. We actually started. I think we held Imbuko at a gap after they had the gap on us. Crested the climb, went down the other side, and Wessel broke a wheel. We spent quite a bit of time duct taping that, plugging it, and then 5 minutes after that, I punctured. Then I fixed that, and then it was full gas to the finish. Just at least just limit the damages that were done on that descent.
And then going into tomorrow, you guys are second on the general classification. First might be a little bit too far ahead, but I mean, the Tankwa track has showed anything can happen.
Absolutely, and I mean, if it can happen to us, it can happen to other people. But unfortunately, it did happen to us, and I mean, it's never the end. If you look at the bigger picture, which is epic for us, we rather have it happen now and learn from our mistakes.
In the women's race on the Queen stage, the She Sends team were absolutely dominant once again. They rode away pretty early on. There was a puncture again for the M&G Spaghetti team. Greta Seewald again, unfortunately, punctured early on before dropping down the old Gaido pass. So within the first 10 kilometers, she'd punctured. They were out of the group, so they had a long day of chasing. And they managed to come back really well. By the time they passed water point 2 at 67 kilometers, they'd reeled themselves back in and were in second place, but Candice and Kate were way too far up the road. So by the end of the day, they had put 12 minutes and 31 seconds into Greta Seewald and Martina Berta. Ghost Liv Racing lost 23 minutes on the day, Efficient Infinity 28 minutes, and on stage 3, the Kulisi Foundation Songo team of Isla So and Cherise Willett overtook Safari Essence Titan Racing and rode themselves into 5th on the day and 5th overall, which was quite a coup for them, being very much the best of the proper amateurs, the full amateurs, the working women who don't have as much time to race and train. Isla and Cherise both of course moms as well. Racing on very limited training time there. After stage 3, then the women's general classification was that M&G Spaghetti with 34.5 minutes down on She Sends. Ghost Liv Racing 42 minutes 16 down. Efficient Infinity 50 minutes and 4 seconds. And Songo Kulisi Foundation in 5th at 1 minute and 20, which really underlines the dominance of Kate Courtney and Candice Lill. And here those two are to kick off the women's interviews. Kate Courtney first, then Candice Lill, and Tyler Jacobs and Martina Berta bringing up the interviews for stage 3. Kate, when did we last speak to you?
A couple days ago.
Tell us about yesterday. What was it like in the Witzenberg Valley?
Yeah, yesterday was awesome. I think it was the first longer, harder stage. We just had the short prologue before. So it was really kind of when we started to see what our teamwork was all about. I think it was a really awesome day for Candice and I. We got separated early. Unfortunately, some of our competitors had some flat tires. So we were alone early and got to practice kind of our teamwork and pacing together. And it was just honestly super fun. I think the last time I did a stage race, I was the very clear B rider. And I think Candice has pulled quite a few partners across the line in these events. So to be kind of evenly matched and able to work together and lead where we're strong and follow where others are strong is a super cool experience.
Tell us about that, like in a little bit more detail. Like, you know, it's been 6 years. You probably won't do another stage race this year, I'm imagining. How does it fit into your year and your calendar? And then just racing with Candice
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I've only ever done really one stage race. It was the very hard one of the Cape Epic. I think it can be a great element of preparation. I think for me in particular, my body loves these efforts. I love the challenge of them. And I think it's also really unique and special to race in a team partnership. So hopefully I'll get to do a few more in the coming years and find a way to work those into my schedule. Of course, it's a bit tricky with the World Cup schedule these days. But yeah, I'll see how I'll come out of this one, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more on the calendar in the coming years.
And doing your own thing now, having your own team, does that allow you this freedom? Maybe also to pick and choose your World Cups a little bit more as well?
Absolutely. I think that was a huge part of it, is really understanding what I need to be successful and starting to put the pieces together of what optimal preparation looks like. And you know, I must say, like racing an early season race like this, having the volume, having really hard, long days, working in a team, building confidence, spending a ton of time racing my mountain bike, like those things work really well for me. And I think even though it's so different than XC, it's really great preparation for me without some of the pressure that comes from racing the early season kind of lower level UCI races. So I think it's a great idea for the future, but we'll see how this one finishes up and how we come out of it this year.
And then tell us about today. The Merino Monster is obviously a huge climb, but
today was awesome. Yeah, I think in stage racing and in marathon racing, I think it's first you versus the terrain, then it's you versus your competitors, and then it's you versus yourself. So no matter what, you've got a big challenge out there, and here the terrain is enough to keep everyone pretty busy. I just have to say I'm like so much respect for any of the amateurs out there and really anyone who took on this course today. It's like one of those climbs you see and you just think, no way I'm going to make it up there. And then you kind of eventually slowly grind up there, and then the descent is just as hard as the climb. So really tricky day, really tough riding, but also really, really fun and beautiful views. We had a great time out there.
Candice, Kate was telling us about mental freshness and just doing things sort of slightly differently. Can you tell us a bit about the Barry philosophy and how you keep yourself fresh, not just year to year, or not just in the season, but year to year as well?
Yeah, so I think as a racer, it's really important to be able to not just race your bike and be serious all the time. Like, it's really good to have a life, I guess. And like for Kate coming out to South Africa, being able to do Tankwa Trek, being able to do the training camp that we went on in the Cedarburg and climb a mountain and do all sorts of other things. Like, I think it's really good for this time of year as part of like a build up to a more serious season. You got to keep it fresh.
Tell us about Tankwa Trek today. Merino Monster Day, it's always a big one. What was the approach to the stage?
Yeah, Merino Monster is always hard no matter what happens. No matter what happens before or after, if you go up that mountain, it's difficult. Today we had, I think it was probably one of the freshest I've felt at the bottom of the pass. And it was unfortunate that some of our competition has mechanicals and problems like that. But for Kate and I, it was just a matter of pacing it in a really good way from start to finish, saving energy where we can. But also I think we pushed in areas that are different to if you're racing directly with a team. So I think our overall speed was really high, but we didn't have that like big battle up the Merino, which would have been a lot harder.
Do you go back now and look at your power files and all of that and see like how it compares to last year?
I think I will. I think I'll do a little comparison compared to last year. But on feeling, I can tell that like last year I suffered way more going up the Merino. I can't tell whether it was faster or not. I guess I'll go look. But I feel that because we were in such a head-to-head battle, we went faster up the climb, up the Merino itself, but slower elsewhere.
And then looking forward to tomorrow, another tough day out in the Courtney veld.
Yeah.
It's rocky. You know, there's been quite a lot of punctures, not just in the women's race, but in the men's race as well. So you got to keep it clean and bring it home.
Yeah, tomorrow is a nice, fast stage. I can't say it's smooth. It's another day in the Tankwa, really rocky. But I really love this sort of riding. Like for me, I think I've just grown up doing this sort of racing with the South African terrain, with the terrain we have here in the Cape, and like I feel that I know how to get the best out of it and be efficient over this sort of terrain. So I think tomorrow will be a lot closer race as well. So that should be exciting.
So let's just talk about yesterday quickly. It was a real tough one out there for you.
Yesterday was very tough, but I think today was a lot harder. Like, I was so broken, but Sarah was the most amazing partner. She was there with me the whole time. She went up to the top of the climb, filled my bottles for me. Yeah, I don't know what I would do without her.
What's that Merino monster like when you're feeling empty at the bottom and you can see the mast up ahead and it just never comes closer?
It's one of the worst feelings I've felt ever.
And the descent from the top?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It's just that when you're already broken, like, trying to keep composure and also recover on the downhill is quite hard.
What are you looking forward to most tomorrow, the stage or finishing?
I'm really happy that tomorrow is a shorter stage, but yeah, I'm happy to finish.
Martina, it's been a difficult couple of days for you with punctures. Just tell us about coming from the cross-country circuit and then having to, do bush mechanics here at the Tankwa.
Yeah, it's. I hope for a bit more less stressful start, but yeah, yesterday Greta had I think 4 puncture and today another one. So yeah, but today we were a bit more used to plug the tire, so it was better. No, but the problem is just that all the puncture we had was at the beginning of the race and just before all the flat stuff. And normally when you are in the bunch there, you can rest a bit more. And so yes, both yesterday and today we had to go really already hard in the flat to not to lose too much time. And then, the Merino climb today was a bit out of the comfort zone for a cross-country racer, I think.
Tell us about that climb. What's it like going up there, climbing for 45 minutes? Yeah, hard.
Yeah, it's difficult. And in training sometimes we do also like that, something like that. But yeah, after 3 hours, because we were after 3 hours, and I had already some cramps in my feet, so I was a bit struggling there. And yeah, it was really, really hard, and also the downhill it was not going better. So yeah, it's kind of a really good experience because it's really something far from what we are used to, and for sure it could be useful also for the cross country season.
And then tomorrow, shorter stage. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to maybe racing for the stage win.
Yeah, we will try. Then, yeah, for sure, Candice and Kate, they are really strong. So I don't know. I think also on 2 hours and a half or 50K, they will be strong as well. So yeah, we will see how we feel tomorrow morning. And also, yeah, we understood that in the last day, that you can do a plan, but then you also have to change plan because you can have trouble or mechanical, and so yeah, we will just see in the race.
So going into the last day, stage 4 on Sunday, 57 kilometer stage with 940 meters of climbing. The general classifications were pretty much wrapped up, but that didn't mean there wasn't late drama as well on the day. Unfortunately, that drama came in the form of a pretty bad crash for Wessel Buerter of Honeycomb 226s. Stage 4 of the Tankwa Trek, whenever they head east, there's riding into the sunrise, it's dusty, visibility can be quite difficult, which is why Imbuko decided to lead from the front and really, use attack as the best form of defense. Wessel maybe it looked like was taking some shots, was a little bit further back in the field, struggling to make his way up with the ferocious pace that Marco and Tristan were setting. And I don't know if he had a pedal strike or just lost his front wheel in a sandy patch. He doesn't know either. He crashed very hard. Definitely concussed himself. Broke his helmet. cracked his teeth a little bit, had some blood in his mouth that really didn't look good. His honeycomb team rallied around him once they found out that he'd crashed, and nursed him down to the road where the ambulance picked him up. They did a concussion check on him, took him off to the race doctor. And yeah, I thought so with Wessel. I really hope that he recovers quickly. He obviously won't be racing this coming weekend at the Imbuko Big 5, but hopefully he'll be back on his bike after a bit of a rest and just give his brain a chance to recover, because it's always pretty scary when something like that happens. But yeah, so here's Mark Britson with the story as far as he knew about what happened out there on stage 4 to Wessel.
Yeah, we started the race, and I must say the visibility was quite poor, with the sun right in our eyes and then the dust. So I don't actually know what happened to Wessel. I just looked back when the race split. I was with Imbuko and one singer guy, and there was a bit of a split. And I looked back, couldn't see anyone, so I stopped and waited eventually, and saw like a lot of riders passed. And they said to me like, Wessel's is, he's coming. So eventually he arrived, and I see his whole mouth is full of blood. So yeah, wasn't a pretty sight. Shame. And then from there on out, we just nursed him to the finish, to the medics. And then from there we said to him, okay, that's done, and he was a little bit confused and all that. But what I've heard now, it seems like he is okay. So yeah, it's at least a positive.
Tell us about the race in general, though. You guys obviously managed to take some good things out of it. Stage win on stage 1 as well. So some positives to look back on the Tankwa track too.
Absolutely, it's not been a straightforward Tankwa for us. I mean, we've had a lot of challenges, and adding to today, it's been quite a challenge. But yeah, I mean, we can take some positives out of this race. We've been racing well together. We have had the stage win, as you mentioned, and I mean the form is there. We just need to put the final touches together now.
Back on the racing side, Singer went to the line with Imbuko, ChemChamp and Toyota Specialized. Martin Frey and Simon Stibian managed to take the stage win. Imbuko, once again, kind of gentleman's agreement, sat up slightly. They crossed the line in second to secure their general classification title and the overall victory at the Tankwa Trek. Toyota Specialized were third on the day, but could only move up to 5th on the general classification. So after 4 days of racing and following Honeycomb 226's withdrawal after Wessel's accident, the general classification was as follows: Imbuko ChemChamp in first, Joubert and Tristan Nortje. Singer KTM Racing's Martin Frey and Simon Stibian were second, 10 minutes and 36 down. Computer Mania Cannondale Pro, Daniel van der Walt and Ocean Specker were 19 minutes and 8 seconds down. Insect Science, Keegan Bontekoning and Arnaud de Toy were 23 minutes 20 down, and Toyota Specialized Matt Beers and Johan van Zel were 30 minutes and 12 seconds down. And to recap on their race, here are those men who stood on the final general classification podium, starting with Marco Joubert and Tristan Nortje, then moving on to Simon Stibian and Martin Frey, as well as Daniel van der Walt. Marco, first of all, looking back on the last 4 days, you can't be much happier with how it's gone, and pretty much been a perfect race for you.
Yeah, perfect race. No mechanicals, no crashes, no punctures. So setup's good, and every day we were in the mix, either sprinting for the win or taking the win. So now we're stoked.
A lot of work obviously goes in behind the scenes to get into that position, not just physically, but with the bikes and with the support staff as well. Just tell us about that.
Yeah, I think everything needs to line up, training as well, and if you have a weekend like we did now, all the hard work out of or away from the cameras is sort of pays off, so we'll keep doing what we're doing and hopefully carry this momentum into the rest of the year.
Tell us about today. Obviously a very fast start. You guys were putting the pressure on everybody again, but then after Wessel's crash, it kind of looked like you eased up a little bit.
Yeah, what's the old saying? Best defense is attacking or going on the offensive. So yeah, we did that today. Just sort of sat in the front, controlled the pace. It's always safer. You can choose your lines, and I think that's also why we had such a smooth race. We checked the route and I think just controlled the race nicely.
And then what does this mean, winning the Tankwa Trek, for you guys, for the team and for the sponsors?
Yeah, sponsors are stoked, so we're happy.
Tristan, tell us about the emotions of winning the 2025 Momentum Medical Scheme Tankwa Trek presented by Biogen.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely super happy. Last year I hadn't had the best year, so yeah, we started the year good, Atukwas, then Trail Seeker, now overall winner Tankwa Trek. It was one of our goals for this year, but yeah, one of our big goals is still coming, so yeah, we're super happy with how we rode this last 4 days, and I think me and Marco are a good team together, and I just want to say thank you to the whole team behind the scenes. There's a lot more going into the win than just us riding the bikes.
Tell us about how you controlled the race. I mean, that was a big part of staying safe out there, especially today in the in the rising sun and the dust. As we saw with Vessel, it's dangerous when you're a couple of wheels back.
Yeah, I think definitely me and Marcus saw that we both are strong this last 4 days. So we took I think we just rode from the front. I think riding in the front is definitely way easier than riding a few wheels back. Just controlling the pace and keep the pace high and hard. So yeah, it's definitely easier at the front, but yeah, we just try to make it as hard as possible for the guys behind to keep them on the limit.
Just tell us about today, how it went after Vessel's crash. It kind of looked like the intensity went down.
Yeah, we actually didn't know Vessel crashed. Me and Marco just said to each other we must keep the pace the first hour as hard as possible, just shatter the field and just try to keep everyone off the wheels, and we came into the first feed zone and saw that it was just 3 of our team. So yeah, that was the plan, and unfortunately we heard Vessel crashed, but yeah, we didn't know, we just tried to split it up as much as possible to keep the team shattered. Yeah.
And then coming into the finish, were you happy to let Singer go a little bit and celebrate yourselves?
Yeah, definitely. They rode Singer, Stevie and Martin are super nice guys, so yeah, they rode well, and we just it's part of the sport, just being nice, and yeah, we gave them the stage, but yeah, we're happy to take the overall win.
Did you tell us about the last 4 days here at the Tankwa Trek? You guys enjoyed it?
Yes, pretty much. Fast racing as always, nice single trails, dusty conditions. And it was also hot the first 3 days. Today was a bit cooler, but like always, we really enjoyed to be back at Tankwa Trek.
And then today, taking the stage win as well must be very special. Good way to round off the weekend.
Yeah, like you say, it's always special to finish a stage race with a win, and we improved every day. So yeah, happy to finish it off with a win.
And then looking ahead now, what's the plan for the rest of the season for Singer KTM?
We are pretty happy that we could kick off our season here, and now the main focus is for sure on the Cape Epic in 5 weeks' time. So that was the main reason also why we are here, to test the conditions. I mean, it's a perfect lineup to be at this event for that big goal. And then afterwards we try to focus also on some Epic Series races, and then of course the new World Cup season, that's including 5 races, and then it's pretty much done.
Martin, tell us about the camaraderie here at the Tankwa Trek between the pro teams. It's a good vibe, everybody seems to get along, and the racing is fierce, but off the bike it's friendly.
Definitely, yeah. It's been a nice 4 days racing with the guys. As you said, during the race it's tough and competitive, but off the bike everyone gets along with each other very well, and it's a chilled vibe in the camp, so really enjoy it.
What was it like out there today? It looked very dusty, very fast at the start, and then a little bit more tactical towards the end.
Yeah, the race went off almost like every day, like super fast, and Pretty soon we were only 3 teams left at the front, and then it was just hammer time all the way to the finish. Yeah.
And looking back on it, do you enjoy the Tankwa Trek experience?
Yeah, I think it has been the perfect decision to come here again after a couple of years, and just a perfect way to kick off the new season.
Daniel, looking back on the last 4 days, what's the feeling?
I mean, the last 4 days have been really, really good. I think we kept it nice and consistent. Yesterday was a big day for us, and today just kept it consistent. Would have been nice to be in there for top 3, but I think overall it was good.
Top 3 overall, though, taking a podium place. I mean, obviously some bad luck was involved for other people, but that's stage racing as well.
I think it's such a brutal course, anything can happen. I mean, punctures, mechanicals, and I mean, we're quite happy with the top 3, but I think we kept it nice and consistent and safe, which is good.
And then, how does this race fit into the rest of the season? How does it set you up for the year?
I think it's really good. I mean, I'm doing Cape Epic in 2 months' time or a month and a half. So it sets me up well for that. And then I'm doing a lot of gravel lifetime series in America. So it sets me up very well.
In the women's race, it was dominance once again from start to finish for the She Sends team. Kate, Courtney and Candice Lill won the final day by 6 minutes and 5 seconds over Greta Seewald and Martina Berta. Martina Berta and Greta Seewald then were second overall, confirming his second place overall, 40 minutes and 37 down on the overall winners. Ghost Live Racing's Tyler Jacobs and Sarah Kortanovas, were 49 minutes and 58 seconds down. And then Efficient Infinities, Sarah Hill and Vera Laza were 1 hour and 8 minutes down, with Songo Khaleesi Foundation's Isla Stowe and Charisse Willett at 1 hour and 41 minutes back. What can you say other than chapeau? I mean, real dominant performance from Candice and Kate. Those women's interviews, starting with Sarah Kortanovas and Tyler Jacobs of Ghost Live Racing, then Martina Berta and Greta Seewald of Imbuko Spaghetti, Candice Lill and Kate Courtney of She Sends. So tell us about the last 4 days. Have you enjoyed your Tankwa Trek experience?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this experience. It's of course a lifetime experience. The first time I came here, and probably it's not gonna be the last.
It's obviously a race that goes back to racing was done before. Are you going to bring all the girls back next year?
Hopefully, yes. I mean, I want to come back here again. So with my team, it will be even more nice.
And then, what was today like out there on the trails?
I mean, today it was the last day. We were all a bit sore about the last day, so I could feel a bit of pain, but in the end, in my mind, everything was focusing on enjoying at the fullest this last day of riding here in South Africa. So I really enjoyed.
And what's it been like racing against the more experienced women in the field and being able to compare yourself against them?
I mean, for sure, it's a lot of learning. Also, we did a little training camp together. So I feel like I'm so grateful because we spent a lot of time together and I could learn a lot from them. And I'm really looking forward to learn more.
Tell us about the last 4 days. Have you enjoyed it?
I have really enjoyed it. It was such an experience. It was really hard, but I mean, I got so many great memories with awesome people, so yeah.
That sort of has been your stage racing career thus far. I mean, it's only your third stage race, but you seem to grow race to race and learn as much off the bike as you do on the bike.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned from incredible people. Candice has taught me so much, and this was just another learning experience.
What was it like out there on the trails today?
I loved today. It was so much fun. The trails were epic and it was nice and fast with short punchy climbs, so it really suited me. And to race with all these super fast girls was amazing.
Gina, tell us about the last 4 days. Have you enjoyed your experience here at the Tankwa Trek?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but the trails were super nice, and also all the day there was quite a lot of nice trails and really rocky stuffs. And I mean, it's really different from what I'm used in Italy and in Europe, and also in the World Cup. For sure, in some places it was a way more rough here than in cross country race. So yeah, it was a nice experience, and full of it was a bit of a roller coaster from one moment to the other. We were just changing our plan, and it was nice.
And just drop the mics and just You've obviously learned some trail mechanic skills as well. Flat tires now, fixed chains.
Yesterday also on Friday, Greta had some puncture. So we learned quite good, I think, to plug in, and I'm pretty happy about that. But it's for sure it's always learning, because when we are in the cross country, we are just used to change the wheel or just repair when with no stress at home, and it's a way more easy. But when you are in the race, you know that you have to be quick enough. But for also, like, when you start again, you have to be really focused and to not give too much at the beginning, and just manage your energy and yourself really well.
What was it like out there today? Did you enjoy the last day?
Yeah, today was I was a bit tired, to be honest. It was a rough one. I think it was almost only trails and not that much road. So it was nice. I think it was also good for all the testing materials and all the stuff. I think we have got some good feedbacks to give to the team, and it was nice today.
Great. Tell us about the last 4 days. What's been your highlight?
Highlight was for sure, I think, the trails and just racing with Martina. That was my highlight.
What is Martina like as a partner? You obviously race together for Italy occasionally, but otherwise you're against each other normally.
I won't say that we are against each other. We used to race in the same team a few years ago, and we are really good friends, and it was just awesome to race together with her here. I miss her a little bit in the team, so it was really, really nice to just race together, train together, and be together.
Tell us about today. What were the trails like and the conditions on the last day?
Today was awesome. I enjoyed it so much. I had no problems, so that was the most important for today. We took it maybe a little bit easy in the downhills and in the technical section, just to be sure to make it to the finish and to secure the second place in the overall. But it was hard to not push too hard in the downhills, because it was so fun.
Candice, this last 4 days has obviously been, a big adventure and a great experience. But it started a bit earlier than that. Tell us about the 3-team setup and the training camp and coming here to Tankwa just to extend that.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting week. It's been wonderful because Barry's coaching quite a lot of international cross-country women, and we formed 3 teams here. We did a training camp before in the Cederberg, Piketberg, Tilbach. So it was a big adventure already even before we got to Tankwa Trek. And I think it's just so unique to be able to interact with women from different teams, different backgrounds, learn from each other, push each other, and then to finish it off with Tankwa Trek. So we didn't exactly come here with fresh legs, but to finish it off in this way, it's just been so much fun. And also that we all bonded beforehand and celebrated each other's strengths and achievements. It's been awesome.
Tankwa Trek with this race village here at Kaleo is special in that everybody's in one space, and you get to spend time with your other mates as well that don't race. You really feel part of the community.
Yeah, you really do. It's one of those special events where it's also not so serious that you have to, as a professional, you don't have to separate yourself the whole time from people and worry about things. You can just interact, and the evenings here are so much fun. You can just feel that everybody here loves riding their bike, and I think that's an important reminder for us as well, because it can sometimes become that it's a job, and it is our job, but to be reminded of that with the surrounding people and everything is amazing.
Looking back on stage 1, how did the race start back on Thursday on stage 1?
It feels like a lifetime ago. Thursday we did the prologue, It was a really fast race. Kason actually went really hard in the prologue. I love that sort of race. Like, it's just all out from the beginning. And yeah, I think since Thursday we've kind of like gone from strength to strength. It's nice on Thursday to have a prologue because you can immediately see like whose strengths are where, and we've just worked better and better as a team throughout the race.
And then stage 2 in the Wittenberg Valley. Wittenberg is always tough.
Yeah, the Wittenberg stage is, I think, quite underrated. You know, everybody talks about the Merino Monster stage, and that's epic in itself, but I think the Wittenberg stage is rough. There's a lot of single track that you have to really focus. It's beautiful and enjoyable, but it's quite tiring on like your upper body and your core and everything. And by the time you get to that long climb out the valley, you are already quite tired. So I think it's a stage that's, you know, it's become iconic. And I think like going up that Wittenberg Valley and looking at Tilbach on the other side, looking at the Kohe-Bokkeveld on the one side, it's beautiful.
And then Merino Monster, stage 3, Queen stage. It's always a big day out and a big one to win as well.
Yeah, the Merino Monster is the Queen stage of the Tankwa Trek, and for good reason. I think I said on my Instagram yesterday, like, it's my annual longest climb. that's the longest climb I'll do the whole year, and I tick it off every year at Tankwa Trek. And it's tricky because it comes after like 3/4 of the stage is already done. So it's really a pacing game, and I think yesterday we did that really well. So I could semi-enjoy the pace that we rode up there.
And then today, nice, fast, punchy stage. What was it, 57 kilometers?
Yeah. So yeah, the last stage of Tankwa Trek was 57 kilometers. A lot faster than the previous 2 stages, less climbing, more punchy. I really enjoyed it. Like, to finish off a stage race like this is so awesome for me because like those long stages can sometimes feel like, you know, the long slog and the suffer, and today was just like really fun mountain bike racing. You know, you're going around corners, you're sprinting out the corners, you feel the speed, you get up to really good speed on the flats, and it just makes you smile.
And then just from a Biogen perspective, obviously being able to represent a key sponsor here is also very important.
Yeah, so I'm also a Biogen athlete, and obviously Tankwa Trek is sponsored by Biogen as well, and they've been great here. They've had such a presence. They've provided a lot of gels and everything at all the water points, and also just to interact with other Biogen ambassadors. It's a really cool space.
Kate, looking back on the last 4 days, what was the highlight of the Tankwa Trek?
Oh, too many highlights. I think it was just a really special adventure. I get asked a lot in South Africa, like, what do you think of this place? Do you love it here? And I think I've been here 5 times, and I've come for training camps and for another 8-day stage race. And I've always just kind of seen this like small part that, you know, when you're in Stellenbosch and you're just training and spending time with the factory team and going to a coffee shop, like, it could be anywhere in the world. And I feel like this week I've really gotten to see like the people and the places that make South Africa so special and that make this cycling community so special. So for me, it was really getting to meet all these people that love what we love and make it possible for us to do it at the highest level.
And then looking back on today, obviously another tough day out there, but when Candice really, went out hard from the gun, controlled it, and got through second.
Yeah, it was a hard day. I think our coach, Barry, over there will be happy with our efforts today. We kind of managed to find a really great pace throughout the week and push each other. So I think it was a really special thing to be evenly matched with a partner. And, you know, we both kind of set the same pace, but we also kept each other honest to like really keep on that edge and ride well, stay focused, stay controlled, but put the power down where we could.
And then what's the riding like here compared to elsewhere in the world and even to Stellenbosch?
Yeah, I mean, it's just super tough terrain. I said at the finish line, there's no easy days and no easy Ks out here. And I mean that. I think no matter what, like, you're super engaged and focused. You have to be really in tune with your bike. I think this was my first time racing the Allied BC40. It's a new bike for me this year. And it was like the perfect trails to really like test the equipment and really gel with the equipment as well. And I think it's really, really tough terrain. But when you get the hang of it, it's really fun.
So that's that is it from the Tankwa Trek. From a racing perspective, a little bit of reflection on sort of the winners and losers of the race. I think the obvious winners were Imbuko, ChemChamp. The form of Tristan Nortje and Mark Joubert is pretty formidable. They really are going to be a team to watch at the Absa Cape Epic. I think once again we'll see just how they shape up against the top international riders at the Imbuko Big Five this weekend. So that'll be good to see. And then, other than that, I think from a other race perspective, the fact that Candice Lill is not racing the Absa Cape Epic is quite a loss for the Epic. To not have South Africa's best female mountain biker in action in the biggest race is a bit sad. But you understand why she's made the decision. But still, for the South African fans, it's going to be a big loss. I think everybody that saw her race this weekend really has to appreciate what they saw, and hopefully that takes her on to some really big things later in 2025, in the World Cups and the World Champs. As for the next episode coming up later in the week, we'll look ahead to the Imbuko Big Five, which is definitely going to be a captivating race. It's always a tough one. Over 2,000 meters of climbing in 80 kilometers. There's no easy way to say it. It is going to be hella tough. So until then, thank you very much for listening to the Diverge Podcast.